Tonight, we're unpacking founder fatigue, the burnout nobody budgets for. When did exhaustion become a badge of honor instead of a warning sign?
It's just everybody needs result without, looking at the effort. I think this is what is slowly turning us into doing machines without taking the time to pause.
I feel I will be the laughstock of my peers.
I would continue to push and push and push. I got to a point that I wasn't able to push anymore when I was doing everything that I had ever dreamed of and I wasn't happy. If you are unable to feel or honor what is actually going on internally, then the resilience almost becomes denial.
And what is the cost, the health cost of all of this?
I believe exhaustion is not just physical, but it's a mental. They think they have to take on everything and not ask for help. You've got to slow down, know why you're doing what you're doing, what do you want to do.
Once you fail, somebody else is going to come and take your place.
Which it's sad to me because they definitely lost what they really want to do.
Women are the wives, they're the mothers, they're the caretakers.
We're starting to see just how strong women are inside the workplace, not just outside.
There are many other resources to shine in this life. There's not only entrepreneurship.
I would love to say this to all the women out there, the young ones. Failing is okay. Failures are the stepping stones towards success. There was a time when startups were sold as modern fairy tales, big ideas, bold risks, endless optimism. Today, the story feels very different. Funding is tighter, timelines are shorter, pressure is constant, and founders, especially women, are expected to absorb uncertainty, exhaustion, and risk quietly. This episode is not about how to push harder. It's about asking a more uncomfortable question. When did resilience become a demand instead of a choice? Tonight, we're unpacking founder fatigue, the burnout nobody budgets for, and the cost of over-romanticizing endurance, and why stepping back, shutting down, or changing course might be a strategy, not failure. Joining me at the table are three remarkable women who sit at the intersection of leadership, performance, and real-world pressure. Tanya Truong, a leadership and organizational development expert. Nicki Bedford, founder and CEO of the Female Founders Network. And Ghita Mejdi, executive coach and strategist. I am Rania Barghoud, and this is Between the Lines. Welcome to Between the Lines.
Thank
so
you.
This episode is about when we consider pushing through a little bit reckless and where we're comfortable that whatever resilience, she's resilient. This woman is resilient, but we don't know what's behind that resilience. And we say that we're living in a moment where startups are becoming fairy tales. This is how they're marketed, fairy tales, but it's not really that, is it?
Absolutely not.
Right. So what is it?
What is startup world at the moment?
Yes.
I mean, startup world is genuinely one of the most exciting spaces because it's built on big dreams and inspiration, aspiration, creating something for yourself. But there are so many different elements, and a huge element that comes as part of that, which is something I've experienced and a lot of founders, is you are really figuring out who you are as a person as well. I would say starting a business is one of the biggest self-development courses you could ever take in life because you really identify how you react to really, really hard things in a way that you've never experienced before. So it's I always lead with the fact that it's so exciting because I think that a lot of people, when they start business, they have this beautiful end goal, but it's not just, never going to just, I've arrived. And it's this absolutely world of self-discovery along the way.
It was such a great time when this was discovered. Women entrepreneurs, everybody's starting their own business. But now, when everything was okay in a few years back, now funding is tighter. Even deadlines are much shorter. And even timelines where expectations are much higher. Even though if you're tired, if you're burned out, you still have to deliver.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up with that, Ghita?
I think that it matches exactly the world that we live in, the speed at which we go through things. And it's not only corporate or it's not only entrepreneurship. It's just everybody needs result without, looking at the effort or looking at the trying element of it. And both in the entrepreneur world and both in the corporate world, because I belong to both of those worlds, I think this is what is slowly turning us into, doing machines without taking the time to pause and without taking the time to assess, like, is this a burnout? Is it out of capacity or is it out of discipline? I found myself so many times just stacking things to do and lists to do and meetings to have and ideas to develop and to diversify my business portfolio without taking the time to say, maybe what I have is base enough to be able to build around. But because there is a demand outside and because there is so much noise outside, that you have to pay attention. And I think that's what makes us breathless.
I had a friend yesterday. We had a conversation on the phone. Tanya, maybe you can help with that. She was telling me there's so much information out there and there's so many to-do lists and there's so many things to do. As an entrepreneur, I am lost. I'm sometimes I find myself really depressed because I don't know where to start. I don't know what to catch up with. And I don't know if I'm missing anything. And I'm having a crashing moment every few days. I crash and I think, where am I now? She's very confused. She's doing well, but she's always thinking, am I in the right place? Did I miss something? So I think this is also something up your alley.
In the work I've done and had done and learned and experiences, like Ghita and Nicki said, it's just quantity out there. It's too much. And when you get to know yourself, know your purpose, understand your mission, where you want to go, you tend to find quality in what you need and find those quality content or certain sources that you have researched and built and connected to that you can trust. Like for me, yes, it's a lot of noise and half of it is copy and paste from other people just because they want PR and, likes or whatever, which it's sad to me because they definitely lost what they really want to do.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so what we do, I think a lot of us and what we're trying to do, not just learning ourselves, but to help others who are starting in this world is slow down.
Take a breath.
Take a breath. Explore, know what you at least don't have to be 100%, but at least know where you're going, what you really want. And then find the quality in this massive chaos. And that actually comes a lot with mentors, finding a mentor or coach or a friend that you trust that can help give you some references. So then you're not having to go out in the forest all by yourself.
Yes, totally.
Forest where people throwing in fake trees and good trees and root trees,
Yeah.
Right? And so that's where my work with a lot of the clients and people is slow down.
Yes.
Just because they're throwing stuff around, you don't have to get in there first.
Yeah.
Because you got to slow down, know why you're doing what you're doing, what are you want to do.
What your priorities
What
are.
are your priorities? Yeah. And that's what I usually help people just take a breath first.
Take a breath. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't follow the trend just because.
Yeah, totally. Can I just add to
Yes,
that? Because that really resonated, especially when you said just slow down, because I feel that when it comes to looking at success, the overnight success is often so celebrated.
Yeah.
But there genuinely isn't an overnight success. It's all of this is being built behind the scenes.
Yes.
Yet because we're building in public, obviously there are founders that are choosing their own stories, and it's great to see that inspiration and aspiration hit. But in a lot of cases, it's not, oh my gosh, I went to sleep and I woke up and I made
it's
$3 million.
This is
Magic,
how it's
right?
marketed.
Yes, very much so.
And that's why people feel so overwhelmed.
Yeah, totally, because they can't compete or
Yes.
they can't compare with that.
They think that's success. And if they can't get it quickly, then they just fail. And that's why
I
I'm
agree,
hold on,
100%.
slow down.
So Ghita, when did exhaustion become a badge of honor instead of a warning sign?
When did exhaustion became a badge of honor? I think in entrepreneurship in general, exhaustion is not spoken about enough. Mm-hmm. Nobody actually made a podcast that said, we are exhausted. And what do we do about it? Yes, it's all, tell us what is your secret. Yes. Tell us, how did you achieve this? Tell us. Mm-hmm. And to their own, merit. But nobody talks about I want to say the slavery behind the scenes, because it's really like a self-slavery. Like, you are not only a one-woman show carrying so many hats at the same time, mm-hmm. but you don't have that psychological safety net that you have in corporate.
Yes.
So if you do an error in corporate, you know that you're going to fall back on a system that has your medical insurance insured, that you have an income at the end of the month, etc. This is you being thrown, and most of us women, in unknown industries. And you have to learn very fast the ins and outs. And also, I have to say, there's no real support system in there. Like, it's all learning via content creators that talk about that. And then again, you're vulnerable to the information you receive because there's so much. And you're like, which one should I pick? And which one is valid for me?
Yes.
But at that time, you don't even have the time to question yourself, which one is going to work for me? You're just absorbing the information. And so you stack all those elements together, and then you're exhausted, I would say, after 1 year of operating over the motivation that you had at the beginning to get you through. So exhaustion takes over, but then you're like, it's okay, I've been doing this a year, I need to continue. And you continue. Year 2, you're even more exhausted, but then you get a little bit of clapping, and this is where you're like,
and you get even more motivated then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And then year 3, and imagine we do this for 10 years, for 12 years.
Yeah, but what is the cost, the health cost of all of this? I mean,
thankfully, I'm very aware of what I do. I've done burnouts in corporate and in my entrepreneurship, but it was not as deep as when I was in corporate, for example, because I stay aware. But there's a lot of sadness, and comes with it loneliness, because there's no one around you to talk to about the issues of being truly an entrepreneur. And may I add, unsuccessful, because you're not on the cover of a prime magazine. Because if you're not there, then you are definitely not successful. What are you doing?
This is where actual exhaustion comes from, because you have to constantly strive to be there. Your name has to mean something. And nobody's satisfied with the little that they make anymore. They have to be on the name in the Forbes 50 under 50, 30 under 30, all of these big headlines. And this is a pressure on women, especially that those beautiful glitz and glamour women come and they are featured on magazines, they're featured in podcasts, they're featured everywhere, and you feel small. And all of a sudden we feel small. And what is this? I mean, what should we tell women? What should we tell them to, except besides breathe? What should we tell them? Slow down. Yes, they will slow down, but then what?
My purpose for telling them to slow down is not to slow down and for the sake of just doing things slower. My purpose for telling them to slow down is so that they can understand who they are in this work that they want to do. What is their purpose and their mission? And defining what success means for them. Because not everyone's success means Forbes magazine cover or, driving a Ferrari or whatever it is. Some of them successes, I was able to impact to this community, and I made changes to this community. But until we can help or understand this is what the success means for me, then you are lost, because you're letting the external aspect define what success looks like for you. And hence why we can get very exhausted chasing after something that not out of the millions people do an entrepreneur, not everybody's going to get that Forbes magazine. Not everyone's going to get the Ferrari or become a $1 billion company.
Yes.
It's reality.
Yes.
But a lot of people, because they are not slowing down to understand who they are and what their purpose of trying to do this entrepreneurship, what brings them joy and why they're doing what they're doing. They're chasing something external. And I believe the exhaustion is not just physical, but it's a mental and emotional
That's what
cost.
I wanted to ask you. How does a cognitive and emotional overload look like in your business?
I'm also an executive coach, and I also, very much like Ghita, have been in internal corporate, burnout, and then left and did my own consulting. I go in and out. But where I've seen, I think the mental and psychological impact we see is when their productivity and the performance start dropping, right? Things that how they show up when they're speaking about something, the clarity is not there anymore, or that passion or mission or something, that drive, you don't see it anymore. They're just starting to like ease off or slow down. That's one.
Comes down.
Yeah. And then when it comes to emotional impact, what I've seen is quick emotional reaction to things that you're like, wait, people said that before to you, but this time you're just like, nope, I had it, I'm done. They're slamming the table, they're crying, they're frustrated. So I've seen both happening to men and women, but women who also have a big change in their life in terms of children or family, they tend to take an extra load and they're triggered a little bit more. And so that's when they think they have to take on everything and not ask for help, for example.
That's exactly what we were talking about in other podcasts as well, that women are the wives, they're the mothers, they're the caretakers, they're the cooks, they're the cleaners, they're everything, and they're entrepreneurs. So it is very lonely out there. They're doing everything. And the burnout is not physical more than it's mental, but it creeps up on you. It doesn't come sudden. It just creeps up on you. And one day you just sit down and you think, what the hell happened to me? And that's where I wanted to say, what are we telling this woman? What are we teaching other women, younger generations? Are we telling them it's okay? We've done it. Definitely. Maybe you can do it too. Or are we telling them, look at us and learn from us and try to do it differently?
Do it smarter. Work smarter.
I think it's a really interesting point, because if you haven't gone through burnout, then you won't understand, because it's such a visceral reaction within the body. I think the first thing that I think of is my own experience, which I won't go into detail, but it's essentially the area of pushing, seeing myself. My dad always treated me like the son of the family. And so I felt this masculine responsibility, but I loved it. And so I would just continue to push and push and push. And I found that it was this resilience that I was so proud of, that I thought was my greatest strength, that was actually my biggest flaw at times, because I would push without even listening to what internally what my body was saying was at a lot of times, what the hell are we doing? Why are we still going? Can we please just simmer down?
Step back,
So I would continue to push and push and push and override all of those signals until I got to a point that I wasn't able to push anymore. My body was like, I'm not letting you do this. And we always think like it is a big part of it, can be the day-to-day. But I think, especially as women, it is largely emotional. It's once we stop working, we're still carrying it. We're still carrying the responsibility and the needing to empower the team. And where's my next paycheck coming from? And do I need to report back into this board? What am I going to say? You go to bed thinking about it. You wake up thinking about it. And so this emotional spiral is driving us to not be, competent as we would normally be if we were in a better frame of mind. And naturally, creativity is removed completely and we just don't feel like ourselves. And I know firsthand, for me, it was when I was doing everything that I had ever dreamed of and I wasn't happy. And I know that we're not always chasing happiness. We need to be chasing peace. But I didn't even know what peace meant. And I'm like, why am I not happy? And I thought, that's okay. If I just keep pushing, I'm going to get there, because I know that hustle, there's no way that I won't be rewarded if I don't keep going.
That's the belief. Exactly. That's the belief. So what is the ecosystem still selling women? What lie is it still selling women?
That is going to save us as women. that is going to desystemize us. Like we're going to go out of a system that is rotten to go in a cleaner system. That's the lie.
That's the lie.
And it's so embedded that I've noticed there's a movement in content creators to push for this discourse to say, you don't have to do this. You can leave everything and go and live your life and be what you want to be. But again, exactly like this manifestation surge on social media a couple of years ago, manifestation doesn't happen by itself. You have to have a plan. You have to have a structure around it. And if there's no structure for you to thrive as an entrepreneur, then you will fail. Like, look at us, ex-corporate, and with all the contacts in the world, and we're still talking about founders fatigue. So imagine a younger woman being thrown in an environment that she doesn't know because she listened to a podcast saying, it's easy peasy to be an entrepreneur. Women are brilliant.
Pick up a laptop.
Just pick up a laptop.
You can do it from home.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's right. Work from home. Just do a few hours and get this.
I don't think women should be told that, and especially at an early age. I think we should learn structure. Like if I had to redo it all over again, I would have redone it differently. Maybe stayed in corporate a little longer to make sure that my financials were in place.
True.
Without throwing myself and saying, I'm done with corporate. I want this entrepreneurship life, which I never had, by the way, because my parents conditioned us, thankfully, by the way, to be these little soldiers in corporate, etc. And I said, this is a personal challenge. Nobody has ever done it in a family. Let me do it. But at what cost? Exactly as you said, like chasing this happiness that is never existent because it's inside of you. Like if you're not fully convinced of what you're doing as a business, as a purpose, you have a purpose, you are building something. But this hustle culture into pushing younger people, and especially there are some podcasts, and I listen to them, that are telling younger people, you don't need to work. Like you can make with this internet drop shipping and whatnot, you can make
living the dream.
$10 million a month, easy peasy from your couch. Good. If it exists, good for them. But from the real world that I know, you don't get $10 million out of.
There's a very big difference between the real world and social media world. Huge difference, and there's a big gap. But I want to say something. I want to be a little bit of a devil's advocate here and say, we asked for women empowerment. We asked for emancipation. We did this. We asked for all of this. And then now we're complaining.
I don't know if we're complaining personally. For me, I feel like we've just been operating from a place that doesn't serve us, and we need to learn how to operate. So, for example, for me and a lot of women growing up in the corporate world, but also women I see firsthand as founders, we're operating from our masculine. And I know that that's sounding a little woo-woo, but it's to not woo-woo it. It's hustle, push. Oh my gosh, like if you just get there. And I actually love that side of it, but we need balance. We are soft, like we attract and we are empathetic and we are so highly emotional, intelligent. Like we are so smart. So if we lean into this beautiful, softer, more strategic side of it and balance both, then that is what's going to bring in my opinion, and obviously a lot of other things, but that's our sweet spot. Like we are so magic. And I feel, because I can see what you're saying in terms of where complaining, I don't see it like that though. I think that we've just been misunderstood for a while. And it's exciting that we're starting to see just how strong women are inside the workplace, not just outside.
That's true. I'm just voicing the other
side. Oh no, please.
I do think that there are, interestingly now I see the world, there are women that are brainwashed into this is the way for success. And there are women who the other side is like, no, women should only do this, be home, home moms or whatever. Housewives. And there's some of us who challenge that. So we don't fit the certain mold, and then, and we also don't want to operate. I've seen and worked with executives, women who operated like, I have to be masculine, I have to be this and that, but I can't lean into what the strength of a woman is you can have a kindness, conversation, compassion, empathy, and all of that. So the thing is, when it's funny when you say, hey, this is like, we asked for empowerment, and then I take a look the other way. I think we gave it away. And now we're like, okay, boys, enough. Now we want to take it back.
Yeah.
But not every woman. I mean, this is a spectrum, right? And it depends on who's speaking louder in the moment. But I sense it's a spectrum, and there'll be women or just people along the spectrum. But the question is having people understand where they fit in the spectrum and be okay with that, and have to accept that they're never going to be the more driven and aggressive getting there, but there's some women that cannot settle and be a domesticated woman, and that's okay. And that's their choice. But within the space of being empowered and taking back, I guess to me it's like we've always had the power. But I think because we gave it away because society kind of said you need to be a mom or kids or whatever, all that home. And some of us have always been out there and said, no, I own this. So yeah, you guys do your thing. I do my thing. And then I never gave my power away. So I don't need to take it back. But I understand with some women's fighting for these things and they need to. But I think because we gave it away like centuries ago and now we're just taking it back because we do own... We're very powerful and very influential.
I like that word, very powerful and influential. So are we empowering women or are we training them to endure?
Okay, Rania, let me go back to your initial question. So for me, when you empower an individual, you create an ecosystem for it. Like, let's say we're empowering a 16-year-old to become better at, I don't know, like sports. You create an environment for this person to thrive. You just don't throw them in the desert and say, be good at sports. Yes. You know what I mean?
True.
And so when you think of that ecosystem and environment, it's non-existent for us women today.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to Tanya earlier, and I'm struggling to find a female mentor. I'm struggling to find a female mentor. Under me, I mentee a lot of kids.
Yeah.
But to my level, I can't find a woman to mentor me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Somebody that has been in corporate, somebody that created a business, somebody that is multilingual, somebody that is from the region, etc., all the criterias, you struggle to find that. So I don't think that we're complaining in the country. I think that we're trying to dissect this ecosystem and how can we either create it or if it exists, to enhance it.
Yes, that's it.
You know, the younger women that are coming, entrepreneur or not, we need as women to be able to say, you know what, you want to become an entrepreneur, you don't need to hustle like we did before. This is the environment. I'm not going to do it for you.
The blueprint.
This is the blueprint for you.
Yes.
We're enabling through some of the organizations that we're, I think, a part of. For example, Ghita Solution. I'm also part of How Women Lead or in the U.S. So we take what we've learned, and now we're creating a space to help enable and facilitate their growth and their dreams and things they want to do. And some of us, I think, were lucky who got a little bit of that support. And so we want to give back. Some really had a difficult journey, but because of that learning, made them become a better version of themselves. And now they're able to give back. And so I think the women I've met more so nowadays are just amazing in terms of, again, the power we have is the power to care, to love, to give, the kindness. And not the men don't, but I think us women are just more open to like, here, how do we help you? And
I agree. Ghita, you work with leaders at the moment before performance cracks. What are the signs that you can see that will lead them to crack? And what do they hide best?
It depends. Men and women are very different. Very different, yeah. So I'm going to try to be as generic as possible. Any person that is going to crack is a lot in their minds, as Tanya said. And somebody who is a lot in their mind will be overanalyzing, overthinking, etc. They'll tell you that their mind is like a train. It doesn't stop. Yeah. And this shows in the manner of the person speaking. Like, for example, if somebody speaks a lot, you can tell there's so much going on in their mind. And that's why most wise people have very few words, because there's not a lot of thoughts going on.
They have peace.
Exactly. It's more of a regional train. It's more of a regional train, you know, like vapor train.
Yeah. Chugging along.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm trying to go toward.
Totally. Yes, absolutely.
Can I get a ticket to that train?
Yeah, exactly. That's the train we want to be on. That's the train.
See where you're going. You're almost there.
The train that stops mindfully at each station.
That's
Since
right.
we're on that
They
metaphor
pick
of
and
the
choose.
train,
That's
you know?
right.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I like that train.
Yeah.
So usually, and I'm saying every single person is different, obviously, to show that this performance will crack. It's a very, very, very busy mind. They're not in their bodies anymore.
Yes.
They can't analyze what's going on around them. They're very much in their own mind. Yeah.
And what helps them the most?
To acknowledge that.
Is it difficult to acknowledge?
For some people, yes. Because it's so loud, Rania, it's so loud that all you think about are the volume of those thoughts.
So how do you actually face yourself when you actually acknowledge that this is a moment I am about to break?
Well, I think if this is a moment you're about to break, you don't have a choice half the time, because I think you just don't recognize yourself, or you get over having to continue on without the same level of energy or spark that you might have had. So I think, to, Rita's point, it's certainly around just having that initial awareness before you then take the next step and start really analyzing and getting really aware of, okay, well, where do I need to go? Where am I now? But then beyond that, what are the areas in my life that I can potentially pull back on for a short period? The hard thing is, if you're a first-time founder and you're in your first year, you're going to listen to me now and think, like, yeah, right, as if I can take a break. But I do think that by putting in periods of, I know that for me, having areas that I can be as present as possible, like genuinely get out of my racetrack mind, is all I needed to do as a first step. And it's the hardest thing that you can do, because you think that if I am gone for 5 minutes, everything is going to crash down.
Which is true, though.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it's not.
No,
It's
I
not.
mean, not crash down. I mean, it's to change.
Mindset.
Everything is in the mindset.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Everything
in your
is
mind.
changing in your mind. That 5 minutes ago I was thinking this, and now because of things are changing everywhere around me, I have to think this way. So I'm going to ask a question to the whole room, and the question is, what is the most dangerous sentence a founder tells herself?
Well, I have a few. Like I have, I'm not going to go too dark. I was just going to start with something light, like, I have to, this won't work. Like, I will fail if I don't get this done now. Or it's like, for me, it's anything that has severe urgency tied to it will result in not doing it in the right way.
But we're trained to think positively and reframe our
Radical
mind.
positivity is not what, if you're in a slumped state or not feeling your best, bringing in radical positivity, in my opinion, is just absolutely not
productive.
That was
in
me
any
in
way.
December, so
I just feel that it's doing a disservice to your own, the respect that you have to your body. You just have to try and find a neutral space.
Yeah. What do you think, Ghita?
I think that the lie I've been telling myself at the beginning of my journey was that everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be square and neat. And yes, it's going to be linear because I have the skill set, because I have the contacts, because I have friends that will support. I have a supportive family. And so, given all of this criteria, it should be an equation that should be linear. Little did I know.
Little did you know.
Little did I know. A volcano, and then a river, and then something else. And again, with distance and with wisdom, it's beautiful when you look at this. But when you're in it, less beautiful.
Story. It's a different story when you're
tough.
inside. Yeah.
And again, when you don't create an ecosystem of discipline, because you can't rely on motivation, as much as beautiful as your product can be, because we as executive coach, we're helping leaders perform better and create healthy corporate cultures, etc. It's noble. But when you're in that, and you're like, what did I roller coaster?
Yes.
And you're in the down, you're like, what did I do to deserve this? What did I do? I'm doing everything right.
But I did it perfect. It's supposed to work.
Yeah.
For me, it's always aligning with resilience, being responsible, and like, I'll figure it out. I know how to do it. I'll figure it out. That's the thing I used to tell myself from the beginning since I was young. And though a lot of things you can, but you just figure it, I just own it. I just do it all myself. And it literally, like maybe 10 years ago is when I'm like, I can't do it all by myself. And you're like, okay, it's okay to get help.
Yes.
And be patient when people are helping you, because you figured I can get it all done by myself, that you burn out and you don't realize what you've missed. Our delegates are director or leaders, but when you're by yourself and you don't have a team and you didn't think you needed anyone, But having a mentor was a lifesaver. Obviously, it's someone you bounce ideas off and stuff, and then having a coach. But the whole thought of I can figure it out, I figure out everything by myself, that I think in limited or what I could have done more if I was able to reach out and get help and think it's okay to like get help versus I'll figure it out. I know how to do it all. Which is very, I think it can hinder the potential of what it could be. So,
my most dangerous sentence was, I am not allowed to fail. And if I fail, I will be the laughstock of my peers. And that was my biggest fear. And that was what pushed me through even when I was 9 months pregnant. So because in a competitive world, like in the corporate world, once you fail, somebody else is going to come and take your place. No questions asked. You'll be put on the on the waiting list. On the shelf somewhere. And that's why you have to hustle all the time. You're not allowed to take a break, even if you're in a managerial position. And that was my biggest, most dangerous sentence that I've learned the hard way, that failing, and that was, I would love to say this to all the women out there, the young women, failing is okay. It's just how to pick yourself up again and start over anew without thinking of all the environment around you. This is about you. It's not about anybody else. So that's, I think, one of the key points that we need to teach women is it's all about you. It's not about anybody else. It's not about your mom thinking about you, your dad, your husband, your children, your friends, your colleagues, your peers, nobody. It's just you. I don't know if this is a wrong sentence or a right sentence, but that works for me.
I think self-love, all the love and care that we keep saying we give it all away. I think to give more, you have to recharge yourself. So that comes with self-love, self-care. If you can self-love your care for at least, even a quarter of what you can give back and hold that back for yourself and regenerate, then you have more to give. And that's what I coach a lot of, not just women, but most executive, anyone, is if you don't take care of yourself, there's only you. And what you think, I'm going to take care of everybody else. But when you're drained and you have nothing, and you come back, I spent an hour with my children. I go, did you really? Because you only have 10% of yourself, which you're dragging your feet. So where's the quality in the time? So I try to give those examples. So then I was like, if you want to spend time with your family or children or whatever, you need to give yourself that love, that care, so you have that energy to focus and spend quality time.
True.
So I'm helping some executive women to give yourself time to recharge. What is most important for you? Yes, work is there. I get it. But so that self-love, take care of yourself first in order for you to then take care of what you care about.
True. Absolutely.
And that's the thing kind of my philosophy a little bit.
If I may add to what you just said, because it's a very important sentence. Is, in my opinion, because we belong to societies that are Oriental, external validation for us is very important because of that belonging. We belong to, tribes and circles, etc. And I've suffered from it for a long time because all you think about is, well, I told my parents that I was going to become an entrepreneur and the first in the family, and I'm going to fail. So it really, it's a violent thought in your mind. And coming back to that line of thought, if that thought is unexistent, then you don't need the external validation. So I always come back in my practice to, where did it originate from, this external validation? Oh, it's a thought. Oh, it's just a thought.
It's just a
so
thought.
So now you shrink the demon.
Because you gave it a name as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But it's just a thought. It's not a system in place neurologically inside of you. It's just a thought.
True.
So that's how I shrunk that, if my mom,
That's
if my
very
dad.
good point. That's a very good point. If we actually bring it out of our brain and we put it and we give it a size and a frame and a name, it's something we can deal with.
Yes.
And that's how you can rearrange your thoughts.
Yes.
Fantastic way of thinking about it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Really good.
Good job, coach.
Yeah, that's a free lesson. So are we romanticizing resilience, Nicki?
I know that I was, because whenever I would say a personal value, I would always say I was so resilient. And it was always the fact that I was so good at pushing, and I was so good at picking myself up when things went wrong. And, I was very proud of that. And I think I could be proud of that as well, because we do hard things, and that's what resilience is. But if you are unable to feel or honor what is actually going on internally, then I feel like then the resilience almost becomes denial. You might just be pushing because you've told yourself that you must, otherwise you'll fail, rather than just stopping and thinking that I might need to realign or look at it from the bigger picture. Yes. I've learned that the hard way, but now that I've learned it the hard way, I would never go back. I still call myself resilient, but it's in a more intelligent way. And I think that's really
a more mature way.
Yeah, and I think that's really powerful. But we can get caught up because of the push mentality and the hustle culture.
That's absolutely correct. So who benefits when founders do not walk away?
When founders don't walk away.
Who benefits? Who?
Well, I would say it depends on what stage you're also at, right? In terms of that. I think, I was thinking about the founders first, but in terms of who benefits, it's a tough question because it depends who they're impacting in the moment. Yes. Now, if they have a team and they're not, let's just say they have a team, they got funding, and they have a responsibility or accountable for some kind of result, and they're paying people or they hired people, then those around them. Now, obviously, it depends on the kind of investment they got too, whether it's angel or whatever. But I think in walking away, it has to be first, the founders have to understand and recognize the impact that they will make, but also first for themselves. Because if they keep running it and they sadly, let's say, running toward a dead end, but they don't recognize or accept it, all the extra effort and investing, all the thing, they're leading. I mean, when you run a business, you're leading a team and an investor trusting you somewhere that it's just a waste time.
It's a dead end.
Dead end. And I'm big on our life is too short. There's so many things and talent this person could be doing. If we can just have them stop, pause, and say, look, don't waste another 2 years or 1 year or 6 months, wherever you're going to. If you would kind of already know or gut instinct, it's going to get toward dead end. So how do we help them slow down? And I say this because it's in this such a spinning fast world. If they can't slow down enough to recognize and reassess, then they're wasting their time. And the quality time, for example, if they could be doing something else that they, family or children or spouse or friends or whatever the quality of life is lost during whether the amount of time that they keep continuing.
Yeah.
So it's a great question. And I think that's, for me, it's where as a founder, you got to pause and reassess once in a while to see
so
the process progress.
On the back of that is quitting a strategy.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. It's actually intelligence. If you think that you've assessed enough and you think that you've given it your all, again, in a mathematical manner, weighting the pros and cons of what you've given against what you received, I think it's obvious that you should give back the key, and it's detrimental to your health and your mental health and your safety as well. There are many other resources to shine in this life. There's not only entrepreneurship, you can shine in doing community work, or you can shine as a mother, or you can shine as, as an employee, as a manager, as a director. So yeah, for me, it's absolutely not embarrassing to say, guys, I'm done. I tried. I tried. I'm happy with the experience.
So basically, we need to throw away the stigma.
Totally. Celebrate quitting.
Yes.
Even and celebrate the effort and the learning you got from it. And this is one of the most, I found this hole. It wasn't my thing, or the path was just different than what I thought.
Yes.
And that was a great journey, and now I'm going to go back to where I can shine.
Totally. But also in Silicon Valley, there are investors, big funds that won't invest in you unless you've failed 3 times. You've built 3 startups and failed. So I wholeheartedly believe that when you're failing and you keep on going, pivoting is absolutely it's a definition of success.
Yes. And that's what I was saying earlier. If they can just define clearly what success means for them. And sometimes is, I'm going to fail. And from that failure, I learned something to pick up and learn again.
Yeah.
That is where success is, because you're right. If you never fail, or you don't want to claim that you have failed, then that already, it's you're going to get stuck the next phase because you don't recognize or accept that. And that's important.
So what does a dignified exit look like, really?
Honestly, to me, is being very clear. It's like, hey, I celebrate what we have achieved. These are our winnings. But also, I'm going to own maybe I'm not the best person. And I want to listen again. If you're on a mission, you're trying to build something, and you identify you're not the best person, but own up to it and say, but I found somebody that can continue this to push this mission, then people that are in that space with you, I think, would have much higher respect for you than you continue to lead them on the wrong way. And and I think we're sharing with them like, hey, I need to go find, or I found something else that I am, will be more successful in versus this space. I think just being honest with yourself, honest with the people involved, and do it with care and compassion. I think people respect that.
So what's the inner dialogue here?
Between
you and you.
You and you.
I'm very honest. I've learned to be radically honest with myself, and actually I've prepared psychologically myself to that. If my business is not thriving, let's say 1-2 years, to be able to say, okay, Ghita, you've gained an immense amount of expertise, business acumen. I mean, in my director roles before in corporate, I've touched budgets, but I've never done a P&L. And now I do P&Ls. Now I know what is CX. Now I do CRM. I know exactly how each of my newsletter goes. I've gained an immense amount of things. And so if I have to say to myself, I'm done, then I'm done. There's no shortcut. There's no, you've tried your best. No, you've given it all. And it's been 6 years. I'm giving it all my all. And I would have absolutely no regret. But this is not the fairy tale story. This is the story of the acceptance work that I've done on myself, that I've given it my all. And I have sat with myself honestly and said, what else can we do? And this is the real story that you have to tell yourself.
Yes.
Like, is there something else I can do, or is it going to burn me? Yeah. If it's going to burn, we need to eliminate some stuff. If it's going to sustain, then we do it slower.
Yeah.
But you have to have this conversation to be able to reach that level of integrity to say, we're done.
Yeah.
But if you took some time, you slow down to take that moment for yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
To also, that's where I would, wanted to
it takes
point
a lot
that
of
out.
acceptance,
Yes.
doesn't it?
Totally. But also, because I love what you've said as well. And for me, I think it's also just about having this delusional self-belief no matter what, because as humans, we are so incredibly capable. We actually already have the tools. And I can't remember if you and I, who I was talking about this before this interview, but it was about actually, no, it was you. It was about if you have lost in any way or you fail at something, it's a lesson that you'll learn from that will catapult you to the next thing in most cases.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen, if I've not been able to do something, I've usually learned something very quickly, immediately after, that has led to the next thing. But the delusional self-belief is, in my opinion, it's all the thoughts that are up here, because here we're so expansive, but up here we can tell ourselves any story, and then whatever story we're telling ourselves, you attach to it.
Yes.
So if it is, not that I'm moving into the radically positive, but it's just knowing just how capable we are as a starting point, and that should be your, not the North Star, what's the inner rock, whatever it is, like the thing that doesn't change from within.
Your
anchor.
Yeah. Yeah. Your
Yes.
anchor. Absolutely. It's funny enough what you just said, because for me, every failure is a much profounder lesson than any success that I've ever experienced.
Yes.
My failures are my rock. That's my anchor for me. Failures are the stepping stones towards success.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to accept. Failures make you who you are. So I usually end the podcast with manifestos. I ask each lady to continue a sentence. So I'm starting with you, Ghita. Resilience without protection is?
Resilience without protection is delusion. I wanted to say delulu, but delusion.
Nicki, burnout is not a personal flaw. It's
something to learn more about yourself.
Yes, it's like feedback.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. And Tanya, walking away can be an act of intelligence, not
cowardice.
Not cowardice. Oh, fantastic. And not stubbornness even.
Not stubbornness or cowardice, yeah.
Ladies, I thank you so much for coming into the podcast today. It was lovely hearing all your ideas. You were definitely powerhouses. And I believe burnout is something that we have in the back of our minds, but we can deal with it no matter. And you are amazing, because you just said we are so powerful. You have this attitude about, I'm going to own everything I actually do.
Yes.
Maybe a little aggressively.
But it's fine. It's okay to be aggressive. But I disagree with one word. It's the word masculinity.
Yeah.
And I believe that, I'm really sorry about that, but I believe that we are totally feminine with our strengths and our weaknesses and everything that encompasses our lives. And I thank you so, so much. I'm so honored to meet you all. And it was a beautiful, beautiful talk. Thank you.
Wow, it's lovely. Thank you. Such a pleasure being here.
Thank you very much.
Learning with all you ladies.
All right. See you soon.
Thank you.
Walking away can be an act of intelligence, not weakness. Sustainable ambition requires exit stories, not just success stories. And leadership begins the moment we stop confusing survival with success. Between the lines of every startup story, there's a human cost. Tonight, we chose to read it. This was Between the Lines.